Rob, Media Day again underway here at Nat Bailey Stadium. First off, welcome to the 2017 season. I guess that's the best way to say it.
You wait for 9 months and then all of a sudden it happens, and it happens so quickly. I just met the players last night at midnight, so the fact that just a couple hours later, here I am trying to get to know them and do TV interviews and all the stuff that comes with it, it's a whirlwind.
Last couple of weeks, you've been putting a lot of stories up on social media about changes to the Nat, the infield, the turf you've been putting down, the overall dirt you've been putting down as well. And your staff, we have to commend them. They do a marvelous job.
Yeah, we got a new groundskeeper this year. His name's Ross Barron. He's a local kid from the Sunshine Coast and just has a love for grass. And I know that's weird to say in BC and not smile while you're saying it, but the reality is he comes from the Washington Nationals. He's got a turf management degree, and it really showed. And I think even though we don't like to talk about it, there was a little egg on our face at the end of last season. It was a field that had just been beaten up and bruised over the last several years. It was due for a makeover. So of course, after the final pitch of the season, that's what we got to work on.
Other changes in the offseason that you've undertaken?
You know what? A lot of it's just tightening up loose ends, just making sure that the menu's a little bit tighter. We got a few new items that we're going to unveil in the next couple of days. And more than anything, it was just getting back to the basics. So many years we had things like porches and video boards and, big projects. But this year it was just making sure that the field was level and that the grass and the dirt met at the right places, and just things that I think the Blue Jays will be really happy with.
Speaking of the porch, how's the porch working out for you?
Porch is awesome, man. The hay all porch. Yeah. I didn't realize this because I don't get out. I'm getting a little older now, so I don't go out the way that I used to, but hay y'all is like the drink. So my brother, who's 20, is at UBC. I brought in a 12-pack the other day to my restaurant, and all of a sudden he's like, what are you going to do with those? So before I could even put it in the fridge and sell them, he took off with them because he was going to a party, and hay y'all's where it's at, man.
That's nice to have a brother like that. My brother would probably do the same thing. Nothing wrong with that. But other changes in player personnel. We got 3 Canadians on the team this year.
Yeah, anytime you have a Canadian, it's kind of cool. I remember my first year, I'm dating myself a little bit, 2001, we had Rich Harden from Victoria, and it was kind of a big to-do because anytime you get a kid that's local and went through BC minor baseball, that's kind of a big deal. So the fact that we have 3 of them, we've got Braden Boucher, who's of course from White Rock, just a local kid, couple of kids from Ontario. Mattingly Romanen's got a cool story. His dad's the director of communications for the Blue Jays.
So and an appropriate name too.
Yeah, and Mattingly after Don Mattingly. Yeah. But what's cool about it is his dad pays major attention. So anytime his son does something good, it magically appears on Sportsnet. So it's obviously a perk that we hope he does really well this year.
No kidding. No, that's huge right there. Now you've got coaching staff, general manager, Rich is in.
Yeah, Rich is an interesting cat because he's a little bit older. We've been blessed to have a lot of young guys, but every once in a while it's kind of cool to have the salty vet come in, and he's got a wealth of knowledge when it comes to just things that he's seen, things he's absorbed. And when you're a new to the league or new to baseball as far as professionally, to have a guy that can kind of pick and see and strategize. He's been doing this with the Blue Jays for a long time, and I think he might actually. He's a hard one because I'm so used to guys like John Schneider and Clayton McCullough, but I think he might be the perfect elixir for what we need after a couple losing seasons.
Yeah, it takes its toll. Never mind on the players. It takes its toll on the coaching staff as well.
It does. It takes its toll on a broadcaster.
Yeah,
it was funny because I'm in charge of the video board, so I'm the guy that puts together all those get hype videos, and it's easy to do when you're winning championships because all you do is put a bunch of videos of guys holding up trophies and storming fields. And last couple of years, man, slim pickings. The tree hasn't had many leaves on it, but again, it just goes to show the league is tough. Last year, Eugene won. They're a minor league affiliate of the Cubs, and Cubs did pretty good at the major league level as well.
Says an awful lot about the Blue Jays organization, considering as we're doing this, the Jays were in Seattle taking on the Mariners. They pulled out 2 of the 3 series right there, but nice because it was a sellout down there for Saturday and Sunday.
People think that baseball wouldn't work on the West Coast, and I always say if you just travel down the interstate for a couple of days, you'll get it. Now, don't get me wrong, the Blue Jays only come a couple of times a year, so a bit of a novelty still, but the passion that these fans have, we sell out every single night. We set our 8th attendance record in 10 years in this ballpark, so would Major League Baseball in Vancouver work? I don't know, but I'll tell you what, we'll take the 6,500 every night and love it.
No kidding, and you guys do an awful lot. Great community support here. That's the one thing we really like is you're involved in the community, so the community gives back too.
The community is huge for us. Our hot stove luncheon last year helped us go over $1 million towards helping kids in our neighborhoods. We had our 1,500 children, I think I said that right, 1,500 child come through Nat Bailey's Foundation, and these are kids that don't have the opportunity to play sports. So, that's big for us, but it's also the media coverage as well. And I do have to say, this guy right here is going into our Hall of Fame this year, our Broadcast and Journalism Hall of Fame.
And I tell you, I was
it's because
shocked.
of you as well. You shouldn't be shocked, man. You're here all the time. I remember we have this luncheon. Not a lot of people know this, but we have a luncheon. It's a selection lunch, and I didn't know about it for a couple of years, and then I got in, and everything was great. And so your name came up, and everybody was like, dude, no brainer. And it was awesome to see the names like Greg Douglas and Jim Robson and Gary Rabel and all those guys that we've kind of worked alongside all of a sudden say, yeah, there's definitely a home for you. So we'll see you in August. Wear your best studs, not much different than the ones today, but you're a part of the reason we're successful.
No kidding. Well, Robbie, I appreciate that, and I really appreciate the induction in August because, like I say, I told you on the phone, very seldom you catch me speechless, but for that day, I had no idea. I didn't know what to say other than the fact that I thought you were going to phone for a press conference. I was just shocked. But thanks very much for that, and all the best of luck down the road for the season.
Awesome. Thanks for doing it. And when you said speechless, even your camera guy was laughing at the fact you're very rarely speechless. So thanks for making time for us.
Thanks,
today.
Robbie. Okay, all the best.